We're talking here about hyperhidrosis, or excessive sweating or inappropriate sweating. This is a very common problem, and it can affect children and more likely adolescents and teenagers. We normally do need to sweat. It releases heat from our body, and that's very important for our health. But there are people, again, generally younger people, who have excessive sweating, inappropriate sweating. Most commonly would be in the armpits, although hands and feet can also be affected. Other people have issues in the groin or even in the scalp or face. So it is a problem for many people, and it's something that thankfully we have a number of treatment options for. Hyperhidrosis is something that's been very well studied by dermatologists, and it's an area of expertise for our clinic in particular, the Toronto Dermatology Centre. So the different options for treatment would be various over-the-counter products, so not just regular antiperspirants, but for example, medical-grade antiperspirants, so things like dry sol or hydrosol gel, typically applied at nighttime, would be something that you can start with for treatment, and it's often behind the counter at the pharmacy and without prescription. There are some prescription lotions that we can try as well, and if that's not working, or if some people get irritation from these lotions or gels, there are pills that can be used, and these pills can be quite effective. We tend to use them more in people who have sweating in a number of areas because these pills can dry you out, can dry out your eyes and your mouth and your nose, so we don't use that for localized sweating as much. For people who have localized sweating, say just the armpits or just the hands, probably the treatment of choice would be botulinum toxin, more commonly known as Botox. And Botox has been used for hyperhidrosis for a number of years, very successfully, very effective, and actually very safe. What that entails is us injecting with a very fine needle a number of little pokes of this medication. In about a week, you'll see very significant reduction in sweating, and depending on the location that we're treating and the size of the area, most people will get somewhere between 6 to 12 months of significant sweat reduction, and we're talking 90% plus sweat reduction in most cases. And the vast majority of patients are really quite pleased with that. So these little pokes feel like little mosquito bites, a little bit uncomfortable, but very tolerable, and the results speak for themselves. About a week later, they last for a long time, and again, something that we have a lot of experience as dermatologists, and particularly here at Toronto Dermatology Centre.